Hello everyone. So today I'm going to implement this procedural IVs generator system. So here you can see I have created this IVs using a procedural system that we are going to work on today. So it's a simple spline based system. For example, if I select this endpoint of this spline and drag it like this, you can see it's getting longer and more leaves are added to the system. So perhaps if I do something like this to connect to the other part, so yeah, this is how basically it works. Alright, so let's see how to implement this today. Okay, now this is the mesh I'm going to use as the spline, as the IV component. So if I just use a spline mesh actor and choose this one, I already have it, but I can make it longer if I want. But the problem is I don't really have a way to make a longer spline of IVs. So now let's see how to make a procedural spline actor that allows me to generate IVs, very long IVs as I need. Okay, so now I'll create a new folder, pp, and create an actor blueprint. I'll call it now. Let's go to construction script, and here what I need to do is add in spline mesh components along the spline. So let's do it like this. So we need to access locations and tangents along the spline. So here I'll to get spline length, because we need to iterate through the spline from the beginning to the end. So as the break-in condition in our loop, we need to consider the spline length. So first let's do something like this: get location at distance along spline. Coordinate space, I am not sure. Let's try with local first. So I'll promote this distance to a variable. I'll just call it distance. We need to add a spline mesh component, and here we need to set static mesh of this component as this SM leaves. So I'll set it like this, or we can just promote this to a parameter and expose it in the blueprint itself, but for now I'll just do it this way. And then we need another reference here. We need to set a starting point and end point. Set start and end. So to set, because this is how we set the IV along the spline. This is how we lay the IV segments along the spline. So for that we need to know start point, start tangent, end point, and end tangent. So we get the start point here. Similarly, I'll get tangent at distance along spline. I think we can move it here. Starting point and starting tangent. And the next thing is we need the end. So for that we can't consider the same distance. We need to consider a point in front of this distance. So it could be something like this distance plus 100. So I'll promote this to another variable. I'll call it segment length. So this will be the length of one IV segment. Let's try 100 for now, but we will change it if it is not suitable. I forgot to connect this one here. Okay, now this is the end point and end tangent, right? Now let's set this distance variable with distance plus segment length, because we need to go forward in this spline, and we can redo the same segment. So I'll add a reroute node here and wait. So here we need a branch. Connect the same one here, because we are going to reiterate the same steps for a point, for another point along the spline. So now here we need to check. Now this is where we need it. We need to check the current distance. The length is larger than this current distance plus segment length, because we always need 2 points. We need to make sure that we have 2 points that we can use on this spline, right? Now we have written the code we need. See, now as I add the splines along this, as I make this spline longer, you can see the spline measures are being added. But yeah, we can see that clearly here, right? But most of the leaves are on the downside. What if I rotate this? Okay, now it looks okay. So yeah, wait a minute. This looks a bit odd. As I make the longer, you can see these IVs get deformed. Alright, I think here, rather than using the tangent, let's try direction, because then even if I make it longer without any additional spline points, the direction does not change. This is the distance. We need it in place of this one. Similarly here as well. And compile. Yeah, it looks much better now. See? Okay. Now this looks alright, but we have a problem. The problem is it looks same along this spline. No randomization, no anything. So to give it some randomization, let's try something like this. Segment length. Here let's add another one and add a random float in range. Max. I'll promote this to a variable. Randomization. So I'll make it 50. Okay, now we see broken lines, which is also not good. But no. Oh wait. The problem is because here we use a random number, but here we don't consider that. So what we can do is, let me cut this, and in the beginning, after this part, I'll promote this to another variable. I'll call it random length, and I'll set it here. Then wait, no, not here. We have to do this at the end. After this part, we need to set a random length. and we need to use that here, not just here. Here as well. So I think by doing that we can avoid the broken links. Yeah. Does it again look same? Well, let me make these values public, randomization and segment length, so we can play with those values here. Okay, it is working, so that's why we see these are stretched and these are not stretched. But that's too much, we don't really need to stretch, so I'll make it 50 and it looks okay. Ideally, if I had few variations of these leaves, this would look much better and much organic, but unfortunately I only have one mesh. Alright, now let's add another something like some simple shape like this. And see how this looks. So we have to manually paint. Oh, sorry. Now let's duplicate this. So because of this curve, it gets a bit awkward, so let me convert this to a linear spline, which makes it easier for us. Oh wait, we can't just make it only linear, we have to make the previous point also linear, otherwise it wouldn't work properly. Right. Okay. Okay, so yeah, it looks like it works fine. Okay, so I just took some time off the recording and did place more IVs. So here is the final demonstration. So maybe I'll do some more updates to this system, but for now I'm going to stop this episode right here. And thanks for watching. As always, project files will be available for the download in the Patreon page. Link would be in the description below. And if you like to support my work, you can get the membership of the Patreon club. See you in another episode. Goodbye.